Journey to Atlantis was the first major ride at SeaWorld Orlando, and it's still one of the park's most notable attractions. The prototype Mack water coaster features multiple drops and dark ride sections, resulting in a strong overall experience. But how does it compare to the other water coasters out there? Find out in this review of Journey to Atlantis. Prior to the 2000s, the SeaWorld parks were known exclusively for their animal exhibits and shows. After the chain was acquired by Anheuser-Busch, the chain started experimenting with roller coasters. SeaWorld San Antonio was the first in 1997 when they added a Balzer and Mabillard invert named Great White, and it was well received. This showed SeaWorld that both roller coasters and animals could coexist. In 1998, it was time for the Orlando park to receive their roller coaster. While Busch Gardens and SeaWorld had been adding B&M inverts across the chain, they realized the Orlando market, which was used to highly themed experiences, needed something else. Log flumes had been adding uphill sections after drops, but SeaWorld and Mack took this concept one step further with the water coaster. Journey to Atlantis would receive a prototype ride system combining elements of dark rides, roller coasters, and log flumes into one complete experience. The model was a smash hit because Mack has gone on to build several other water coasters across the globe. SeaWorld San Diego and SeaWorld San Antonio would later receive their very own Journey to Atlantis coasters, but they were much less extravagant than the original. San Diego's would feature a fancy facade and a longer coaster section, but no true dark ride elements. I have a review on that one. San Antonio's would be the tallest and feature a backward section, but zero theming. The Orlando version is not only the best Journey to Atlantis by far, but I think it's the world's best water coaster. It starts with the presentation. The attraction features an ornate facade fit for a Disney park, plus detailed rockwork, and you can hear the ride's catchy soundtrack pumping through the area. It really builds anticipation for the ride. The queue line doesn't have too much to look at. It's mostly a series of switchbacks through some ancient buildings, and you may have to wait a while, especially if it's a hot day. This often is one of the longest waits at SeaWorld, so it's worth hitting this attraction early in the day, especially because a few of the other roller coasters tend to have staggered openings. Each boat seats just 8 riders across 4 rows of 2, but they efficiently run many boats, and it features separate load and unload platforms that can handle multiple boats simultaneously. Those platforms also have some nautical theming, as well as being effective. Each rider is restrained by their own lap bar. Which row you take is very important, depending how drenched you want to get. If you want to get soaked head to toe, ride up front. If you want to come off comfortably wet, ride in any other row. Once dispatched, you head into the ride's first and best dark ride section. You travel through the wonder of the lost city of Atlantis. You pass these fully fleshed out physical sets, going past classical architecture. The scenes are also brilliantly lit in different colors to add to the splendor. And this all takes place to a whimsical musical score that's accompanied by some well-timed water effects. All my rides on this attraction have taken place since 2017, when the ride's story was dramatically simplified. The attraction originally had riders being pursued by Allura the Evil Mermaid. You can still see her stone statue before the first lift, and her eyes used to illuminate green, which looked menacing. But now she's never illuminated or addressed. Parents found the original version too scary for younger guests, so SeaWorld removed the antagonist and menacing music in the ride's 2017 refurbishment. I think I would have preferred the original version, but the new version is still very enjoyable because of the quality of the music and set pieces. You then ascend a lift hill onto the roof of the building. This is the one part of the ride that feels like it could have used more theming, because the immersion is slightly broken by the view of the street and utilities. You then ascend a second lift hill immediately after to a higher level, and turn into a brief but colorful indoor section. This leads into the ride's most thrilling moment by far, the ride's 60-foot or 18-meter tall plunge. This is the most prominent feature from the midway. The drop would sneak up on you more if the audio didn't warn guests of the imminent drop. The drop starts indoors before emerging into the daylight. I love when drops do this because it messes with your mind how long the descent really is. And it's also steep enough to offer a faint pop of airtime as well. The subsequent splash looks pretty big off-ride, but on ride it lightly spritzes all riders. However, the wettest parts are yet to come. First, you round a corner with countless water cannons, and if those in the midway are feeling charitable, they will douse riders with a few different geysers. However, your shoes should still at least be dry, and they'll stay dry unless you were riding up front. As you approach a small drop, those up front will often get hit by the splashdown from the boat behind them. They take the hit for the entire boat, but this isn't even the most soaking part. Then you head down a drop that can't be more than 5 feet tall. It's minuscule, but don't be fooled. This drop is comically evil. Rather than having a straight runoff like most water rides, Journey to Atlantis immediately turns. So all that water rebounds off the rockwork adjacent to the trough and lands directly in the laps and feet of those up front. I always like hearing the reactions of those who don't know this part is coming. Usually it's profane. You then ascend another lift hill back into the building. This section was severely impacted by the ride's retheme, as you pass through a mostly dark room with just some flickering lights to the area's general musical score. Oh, and then there's also the safety spiel about an upcoming drop yet again. Originally, you'd be taunted by the evil mermaid. This section is brief, and it leads into an enclosed drop in near total darkness that curves downwards and up. This section does have a shimmy to it, but it's not uncomfortable. I know the ride was recently retracted, so I don't know if this section was addressed. When you emerge into the daylight, you zip over this little speed hill that actually gives a little bit of lift for those up front, and then you hit the final splashdown, which is just as wet as the initial one. It's pretty funny the wettest part of the ride is the intermission between the dark ride bits, but that's the reality. You then return to the station to some victorious music, ending the nearly 6-minute long experience. And you still have something cool to look forward to. The exit leads to a gift shop that features an aquarium. Not only do you have the usual tanks, but the sea creatures can swim beneath the floor, which is a really neat view. So, what would I rate Journey to Atlantis? I would give the water coaster at the Orlando Park a 9 out of 10. This is one of my favorite water rides anywhere. The initial dark ride scene and musical scores are beautiful, and I love the ride's main drop. It is one of the best plunges on any water ride. The final sequence is hurt by the ride's reworked theme, but you still have that unique coaster drop to look forwards to. I think this is the world's best water coaster primarily because of the theming. Although, believe it or not, it's only the second best water ride at SeaWorld, but that's more a testament to how great Infinity Falls is across the park. It really is a shame the later Journey to Atlantis coasters couldn't match the theming and quality of the original, but that just makes every ride in the Florida one special. You will get absolutely soaked up front, but you'll come off comfortably refreshed in the other rows, which shouldn't deter anyone from actually riding it. So those are my thoughts on the original Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld Orlando. What are your thoughts on the prototype Mack water coaster? Let me know what you think about this attraction, especially if you experienced it before and after the retheme. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.